Hello, my loves. Welcome or welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I'm Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to the family. I'm honored to have you. If you're returning, welcome back. I have missed you. Okay, you guys. So this is actually an impromptu filming for me. While I did have every intention of filming over this weekend, this particular message was I'd say it's that eager beaver message that pushes to the front of the line. I have other readings planned and scheduled for the weekend, but this one was like, no, it is of the utmost importance. So I have just recently gotten this Egyptian Gods Oracle deck, and I hadn't worked with it at all. With this one and the Egyptian Tarot that we're going to be working with today, I have had them sitting on my altar space with the intention of really allowing the energies to acclimate to my workspace, because every time I touch these cards, I can feel my vibrations. It's almost as though my entire body becomes some sort of tuning fork. And so I wanted to ease into this. But last night, after a series of dreams, I woke up and I just felt like it was time. And because I want these to be untainted messages, I didn't want to spend a lot of time putting my energy into the cards. There are two words that keep coming through that have everything to do with this reading. And I know the title of this reading is Messages from Your Guides. But this is about sifting through the sands. The sands of time, the sands of awareness, the sands of the past, the sands of the present, the sands of the future. I just see this kind of like, it's almost like the Temperance card, but there's someone with sand just kind of going back and forth. And it's like they know the more that they do this, the more that grains of sand are going to fall down and fall back into the ground, the desert. But when all is said and done, what's going to be left is a small pile of sand. The sand that's left is going to be that of the utmost importance moving forward on this journey in life to the next phase, whatever moving forward means to you in this exact moment right now. What is going to be left in your hand after sifting through certain things is of the utmost importance, is the message that's coming through. Now, the two words that are coming through really strongly are reciprocity versus retribution. It's divine reciprocity versus divine retribution, and understanding the difference between the two and becoming aware of how they are playing out in your life, how they are applying to the things and the situations going on right now, and how to move through them. Now, this is not to make anyone feel fearful with the divine retribution. The point of this is as I tap into this energy, and especially whenever I work with the Egyptian, I'll call them the Egyptian pantheon. I know that that's Greek, but it's just easier for me to explain it. Whenever I tap into the gods and the goddesses, the deities, the energies, the history, the mystery of the Egyptian people, there is an edge to it of utter awareness of what we do, of the energy we put out, of the actions that we take, and of the retribution that we are asking for with what we do. And retribution is not always a negative thing. I want you guys to think of retribution much like you would think of karma. Karma is cause and effect. Retribution is cause and effect. Reciprocity is I give, you give. I give, you give. We do this equality thing. Retribution is I do, this reacts, responds. This is the cause, my actions. This is the effect, the retribution. And because of that, it's this level of awareness that we're being asked to hold within our minds, our hearts, and our souls in order to move forward. So if some of these messages come out harder, please just be aware. I want to throw that out there. I haven't channeled anything beyond this intro yet, and I am utterly surrendering to this reading, to the messages from the guides, to the energies, to all of it. I am utterly surrendering, and I encourage each and every one of you to do the same, because this is what we're being asked right now, to open ourselves up, to sift through, so that we are holding within the palm of our hands that which is of the utmost importance, so that we can become aware and move forward in a more graceful, compassionate, empathetic manner for ourselves and for others. With that said, I'm not going to be using any meditation music today. There is an energy here where I'm going to film this intro, and then I'm going to let the energies sit for a while. And we will move into each of the individual piles. So, with all that being said, for pile 1, it's the card 17 with Sekhmet, and the key word is justice. And you also have the Tibetan fire serpent. And this is actually the Tibetan fire serpent, not Dumo, guys. And if you know that reference, you're welcome. It was a slip of the tongue. Anyway, pile 2, we have Kunam, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. I could be butchering it, but I'm going with what is coming through. The card 21 with resourcefulness, and this is the Hanshase Shonen symbol, or the distant Reiki symbol. Pile 3, we have the card 30 with Amut, with devastation, and the Halu symbol. And pile 4, we have the card 29 with Heka, an alchemical force, and the Dicomio symbol. So without further ado, you guys ask your guides what energy is exactly what you need to hear. And I will see you at your piles. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the Tibetan fire serpent as well as the Sekhmet and the justice card, this is your message from your guides about retribution and reciprocity. So I wanted to open with talking about the Tibetan fire serpent before we get into Sekhmet and the core of the messages. So the Tibetan fire serpent is one of the symbols used in traditional Tibetan as well as Kundalini Ki Reiki. And it's used on the back in order to start initiating attunements oftentimes. It's also used to help clear and align the chakras. Now, the Tibetan fire serpent, if you think about this in terms of putting this on your back, it is all intended to help awaken your Kundalini energy. And that is divine feminine energy. It's about helping awaken that energy from the absolute base of your spine all the way up. But you do this by welcoming it from the top down. So it's saying, I recognize that I am connected to the higher realms, and I am ready to open myself up even more. I am ready to open my mind, my heart, my soul, my body to a new way of being, a new perspective, and a new way of living my life in this world as a conscious human being, co-creating my existence. I am ready to attune myself to the divine and to the higher realms. I am ready to accept myself as I am and endeavor to better myself on this path forward. The Tibetan fire serpent energy is a kind of opener energy. And with Sekhmet, now we're blending these energies. We're working with Sekhmet, which is the card 17, and the number 8 kept coming through. 8, 8, 8, 8, 88, 888. It's about the infinite nature of the ways in which our soul moves through this existence, moves through this world and many other worlds. The infinite nature of the soul in going through this attunement, this awakening process to divine energies, divine awareness. And as we go through that, we also open ourselves up to things like divine retribution and divine reciprocity. Now, again, these things are not, these words can be seen as bad and good actually, especially with Sekhmet and this Justice card, when we look at retribution versus reciprocity, we can see that we can perceive retribution as being a negative thing and reciprocity as a positive thing. But retribution really is cause and effect. If you look up the definition of retribution and you actually go back to the origins of it, it actually started as a reward. Now it is seen as a reward or a punishment, and it's based off of the actions that we take. It is essentially another word that we use for karma. It is about cause and effect, actions and reactions. And reciprocity is about a mutually beneficial give and take of goods, services, energies, and emotionality. So more often than not, I have found that if we seek to get out of this state of being in divine retribution and want to get into a state of divine reciprocity, what we need to realize is that we are co-creators of our existence. It's changing the perception from being one extreme to the other, these two polarities, into seeing that all things flow as they are meant to. And the Tibetan fire serpent can help bring that energy of flow and awareness in. When we're talking about Sekhmet, and especially with this book, or this deck in particular, the book talks about Sekhmet being the expression of duality between disease and healing, chaos and order, water and fire. And this is an energy that shows up on my channel quite often. And I always have this feeling that this water and fire energy that shows up on my channel, that I channel so often, because there's a collective of people that it resonates with, is because you resonate with something that I understand, because I am also fire and water. And that's something that when you hold those seeming opposites, when you hold those together and you move forward, understanding that, water and fire are the core essence of the two, or they're the two elements which bring matter and spirit into form. It brings these things into form. These are essential founding building blocks of our existence. Now, Sekhmet also talks about using one's voice when it seems as though things are off kilter, out of balance, unfair. She's standing here in the middle of these two figures, and each one is looking to the past and looking to the future. And she's standing in the middle, and she knows that her gaze needs to be to the future. But it does not mean that she does not understand the value of seeing the past. Now, the past and the future are essentially opposites. We hold the middle ground, the present moment, as that center point. So what your guides want you to know right now is you're in this center point. You're in the gray area, on the mystic path. And things are opening up for you as you begin to go through this alignment. But it requires you being aware that the ways of the past are there for us to learn. If we learn our lessons, then we understand that the retribution is a benefit to us. If we feel as though we did not learn our lessons, or we did not behave in the way that we were meant to be, we actually determine the retribution in a kind of negative connotation or a negative construct within our minds, because, well, I should have done this different and I should have done that different. But instead of beating yourself up, be like, okay, I see that I was not my best self during the situation. I can change this. I can meld this. I can adapt this. In a big way, Sekhmet is asking you to actually be your own divine justice, but not for other people, for you. She's asking you to really weigh the scales. And I get a lot of Ma'at energy here as well, is weighing the scales of your own heart and saying, have I been being true to myself? Have I been honest? Have I been moving in a way that is right for me? In the book, it says, remember that all chickens come home to roost. Every person must experience the consequences of their actions, for better or for worse. Every action or thought generates a consequence or a retribution. Proceed more calmly and patiently. Avoid the extremes. That's again, this let's stand in the middle ground. Be your own magician and balance your will and your goals. Be just and fair. Learn to judge and criticize constructively without hurting others. It's about learning how to see the path laid out before you and what actions you can take towards this path. Understanding where you have come from and whether you have been your truest self, and deciding, okay, I am now going to choose to build my world in a more expansive way. I'm going to choose to shift from being in this cause and effect where I feel as though I have no control, and say, I understand that there is a lot of polarities and duality within this world. For this is the plane of existence that we live on is one built on polarities. But because we understand that, because we know that, if we accept that as a way in which the world operates, then we can say, I choose to be in the middle. I choose to be that interim. It's like the extremes between summer and winter. It is as hot as it can be to as cold as it can get in this world. That is two very huge extremes. How do we balance the extremes of the solstices, of the summer solstice and the winter solstice? We do that through the spring and autumnal equinoxes. Even the planets, even this world, the earth that we live on, the seasons share this wisdom with us that yes, we will experience the extremes, but we do not have to live in the extremes. We can live in the middle ground, experiencing all of what we're meant to experience and understanding that each person is unique and individual. You hold the path of your own life, your own heart, your own destiny, your own future. And sometimes we can feel as though others are trying to get in the way of that. Sorry, Willow's on my lap. Hi, baby. But we are capable of harnessing our own internal divine justice. It's about being just and fair, not just with others, but with ourselves. Saying, is this fair to me? Is this situation fair to me? Is this experience fair to me? Does this seem like an equal exchange, or is it out of balance? And if it's out of balance, how can I move forward in a way that is expressive of the truth without it being harsh and judgmental, without it being me whining because I'm not getting my way, but me saying, I'm building my world. I'm expanding in my creations, in my network, in what I'm building here. And I would like to have this equality here. And if you cannot meet me halfway at the table, then I feel as though our path has ended. And this can be for literally anything. This can be for a course of study. It can be for a job. It can be for a relationship. It can be for a friendship. It can be for a community. It can be within a home, within any kind of environment, anything of the sort. If it does not feel as though it is equal, balanced, fair, and just of an interaction for you, it is safe for you to say, this is what is right for me. And when you do this in a very honest, very open, very transparent way, the retribution is literally just a reward for saying, okay, this is what's right for me. Someone else's actions and reactions are not for you to take on. You are being fair and just to you on this journey. So before we get into the oracle cards, this side is going to be retribution, and this side is going to be the reciprocity. We're going to be looking at what's being sifted out right now. If you skipped the intro, I'd actually encourage you to go back, because this sifted out was an image, a vision. Whoa, okay. Apparently the Hermit wants out. It was an image and a vision that I was seeing as I was talking about the purpose of this reading. So we're looking at what is being sifted out of your life right now. So we're going to pull 4 tarot cards to look at what's being sifted out. And then we're going to look at the back of the deck. What is of the utmost importance for moving forward here. So I definitely did not mean for the Hermit to come flying like that, because I wasn't even shuffling, but it does what it needs to do. So can we get a little bit more clarity about what is being sifted out? And while I know these cards have different meanings, I'm going to be reading them as though they are the traditional, but I'm also just going to allow the channeling to occur. And let it take me where it wants to. Because if you skip the intro, I haven't worked a lot with these cards personally quite yet. I just needed more time. Look at that. You literally have 4. Okay. The Hermit, the 7 of Cups, the Knave of Pentacles, which I believe is the Page of Pentacles in this one, and then the 10 of Wands. Yeah, it is the Page of Pentacles. And on the back, what is of the utmost importance, we have the Knight of Swords. So, okay, the first thing that I'm being drawn to is actually the ways in which both the Hermit and the Knave of Pentacles are looking here at the 7 of Cups. So the 7 of Cups is about choice. It's about seeing all the options of life and understanding that there's always going to be a multitude of options that we can take in our lives, but we have to trust ourselves and trust the path. So in a big way with the Hermit here, even though the Hermit is traditionally Virgo energy, we have Leo and the Sun here. So this is about you shining forward in the world. This is about the ways in which you shine that inner wisdom, that inner knowing, that inner flame, that inner fire out into the world. Again, we've got fire and water energy coming up. But the Knave of Pentacles is like, well, let me document all the ways in which I have done this and all the different avenues that I've gone on and see what works and what doesn't work. And this kind of analysis energy that I'm feeling with these 3 has really become this kind of burden that you're bearing, this weight that you're carrying. Like, do I have to keep analyzing myself, analyzing this interaction, analyzing that interaction? Am I going to be able to move myself out of the 7 of Cups and realize what the truest way of shining myself forward is without feeling as though I have to always step back and I always have to go within and I always have to mind my P's and Q's and be very careful about who I'm interacting with, when I'm interacting with them, what kind of energy. It's kind of like this, I've been beaten down, I've been through the mill, and I'm ready for this balance to come back in. And that's where this Knight of Swords comes in. It's this energy of, if you realize that you're in an analysis paralysis mode, or you're looking at all the different aspects of everything that you've ever done and really analyzing what choices you've made and where you've gone and how you've moved and whether it's been the right thing in the past, you're spending so much time looking at that. And then as you shine forward, you're shining forward in this arena of past choices, past decisions, past actions, past interactions, rather than the truest version of who you are, rather than being just and fair to yourself, rather than being in the middle, you're holding back on, you're putting yourself back into this extreme of the fear, the imposter syndrome, the worry, the anguish, the anxiety. This is saying you have the capability of clearing yourself free of this by just moving on. The real way to move forward is to let yourself create. What do you want to create? What do you want to bring in? What clarity are you seeking? And what clarity do you feel as though you have to seek in the outside world? With this being the Knave of Pentacles, it's like every project that you have, it feels like you think it's a baby project. It's like a baby seed. It's very naive. It's not going to go anywhere. I've tried this and I've tried that. And it's just kind of wishful thinking. But you put that mindset on yourself and you weigh yourself down more and more and more. And that's when you get this spark of anger, of resentment, of rage, of, discord with others if they're actually succeeding in their life, or they're doing this or they're doing that. And now you go and you move in a way in which you're trying to do too much. You're trying to accomplish too much. you're overwhelming yourself, and you find yourself shining out from a place in which you're not fully aware of what's going on in the inner world. And you become kind of the walking embodiment of the Seven of Cups. You become this walking embodiment of confusion, of like, you can work with me, but it might be that I am the serpent. It might be that I will lash out. It might be that I will be the sweetest person ever. It might be this or that, or this or that, because you're still swinging between the polarities rather than allowing yourself to say, okay, I have all of these pieces within me, but what is the true part of me? The true part of you is none of those pieces. The true part of you is the part of you that knows that you can move out of this whenever you want to. The true part of you is the part that understands that this life that we're living is not that serious. It's not that heavy, and it's going to happen in the time that it's meant to happen. And you don't have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. You don't have to diminish others. You don't have to diminish yourself. You don't have to wish and hope and pray. You have to trust. And when you clear yourself up of this confusion, of these clouds, and this chaos and this kind of internal mayhem of, I want to shine out, but it's like a crapshoot if I shine out, because it might go good, but it might be bad. And people are watching me. They're waiting for me to fail. People are sitting there documenting what I do. And then when I fail and when I walk away, they're going to take all my stuff and they're going to turn it into something else, because that's how it always works. All of my stuff is good, but it's not good for me. It's good for someone else. It's literally stopping yourself from this mental tirade and saying, okay, I don't want to bear these burdens. I don't want to carry these wands anymore. I'm choosing to see this as an opportunity to release all of these things, release resentments, release this unwillingness to forgive yourself, an unwillingness to forgive others. Release yourself from any, I'm actually hearing release yourself from anything physical, like in your physical world, that may be linked to this way of being. So the reason why I say that is actually just yesterday down in my laundry room, which is adjacent to my bedroom, there I had this bag, this huge black garbage bag filled with old clothes. They were still really like good quality clothes. You know, they didn't have stains or rips or anything like that, you know. So I was planning on donating them, but they had sat in that room since Samhain. And finally yesterday I was like, you know what? I am ready to move this out. I don't want it here anymore. I'm ready to release this part. And it was like releasing an old version of myself, releasing a version of myself that would have worn clothes like that were all just kind of dim and energetically didn't fit who I am anymore. And letting those things go, getting rid of that physical object, really lightened the energy. I just recently cleaned my office, cleared up my altar space, cleared up my office space. And I was talking to Ember Moon, and I showed her a picture of, I want to say it was my cat or something like that, but it ended up catching part of my office, and she just exclaimed how much cleaner and clearer the energy was in here. And it's small things. It's getting rid of things. It's being willing to be like, okay, I'm not going to hold on to this, even though it had some sort of emotional tie to me in a past version of myself. I don't have that anymore. I used to be the kind of person who I wouldn't throw things away. I would be like, no, I can either repurpose this, or I can give this away, or I will find a use for it. I will find a reason to have it at some point in my life. I know I will. I know I will. And then I wouldn't, and it would build up and build up and build up. And I'm not saying I'm a hoarder, but I'm saying like it would become cluttered. And my space would become cluttered. Then my energy would become cluttered. And when your energy is cluttered, then your mind starts getting cluttered. And then you have to do all of this purging work instead of consistency with keeping it clean, keeping it purged. And what I'm seeing here with you guys is there may be things in your personal space that are ready to be purged. It is all well and good to want to donate certain things. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to want to sell certain things. But there are times where it is more of a statement to yourself and to the universe to say, I'm no longer this version of me. And I recognize that so much that I don't care about these physical objects that were tied to this version of me and what happens with them. So if I choose to throw them away, I am choosing to say, I am purging to the deepest part of my capability these pieces. And then you move forward from there. So this is about you guys really decluttering and moving through that energy so that you stop holding yourself back with this analysis paralysis. Is this taking off? Is this going to go anywhere? It's weighing you down. It's burdening you more than what it should. It should just be about that equal exchange of energy and about being in the flow of creativity, about building your world as you see fit without any apologies to anyone else, because you're not building their world, you're building your own. So let's take a look at the effect of actions that you've taken. This is about the divine retribution coming in for you. We have the card 41 with Circle of Eternal Joy, Timelessness and Dance of Life. And then we have Eagle, See from a Higher Perspective. That's beautiful because that's exactly what we're talking about. You're building your new world. You're building your new life. And you want to be in this eternal joy. You want to know what the dance of life feels like. And you want to feel that happiness, that excitement, that joy, that experience. And in order to do that, you have to really allow yourself to come up and see from a higher perspective about the ways in which you're burdening your own mind, the ways in which all of these things, these ways of, I'm going to shine forth. Now I'm going to analyze. Now I'm going to doubt. Now I'm going to fear. Did I make the right choice? Did I choose the right cup? It's kind of like that Indiana Jones where they do all of that stuff in the Last Crusade. And they finally get to the chamber where the Holy Grail, the cup of the Holy Grail is. And the guy who's with him thinks that the Holy Grail cup is this absolute audacious, like over the top, super jeweled, bright gold, beautiful cup. But it isn't. It's the muted one. It's the mellow one. It's the one that knows it's the middle ground. It's the one that understands the value inherent within it, not from what the exterior world will perceive it as. It doesn't need gems or jewels or anything like that. It's just a cup. That higher perspective that the choices that you make don't have to be super flashy and super awesome and whatever for the outside world. It just has to be quality and true to you because you know what you're worth within. And when you shine that true worth of yourself without, then the burdens fall and you have this clarity moving forward and you can move forward in exactly the way that you're meant to without other people coming in and being like, you know your worth. So let's see what kind of reciprocity, where can reciprocity be found in your life? All right, we've got spring, see your seeds grow. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about with this Knave of Pentacles. It's like I've planted the seeds. Are they growing? Is this happening? Is this sprouting? It's about trusting that the seeds are going to grow because spring has sprung. It's going up into this higher perspective and being like, oh, okay, you know what? It takes time for the energy to come back. That's why we talk about divine timing all the time. It takes time. If I want to speed that time up, I have to have more faith. I have to keep my mind in that mindset that this is right for me. Without that doubt, without that fear, without that anxiety, without that analysis paralysis. And then we have the card 4, summoning power, instinct, intellect, control. So this is about you realizing that your mind is where your power comes in. Do you guys have 2 pets, like 2 cats or 2 dogs? I'm just picking that up between Sekhmet and the summoning power. Having 2 of something may be significant. You may have 2 different projects going on right now where you're worried that maybe you have to choose one or the other. This is really more about you choosing the clarity and the peace of mind that you want moving forward. It's not about the this or that. It's about both and having both and saying, I am worthy of both these things and I trust in my path. So I am going to harness this power and move forward. I trust that I can see from a higher perspective that both these things are meant to be in my life, that the seeds that I have planted will and are growing, and I am moving forward with clarity into what I know is my truth. It's moving forward into your power, moving forward into what you know you can control. And that is literally you and your mind. Instead of being hyper analytical about this, that, and the other thing. What is this person doing? What is that person doing? Anything like that. Or is this taking off? Is that taking off? It's like, it's like the trap that I fall into oftentimes on this, on my tarot channels, which is staring at the analytics too much. When you stare at the analytics too much, you don't get the fullness of the experience of just creating to create. You end up being in that state of, I'm creating to see this, 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 and this. And then you analyze, is this taking off? Is that taking off? Did this work? Did that work? How about this way? How about that? You keep yourself in I need to control this and control the outcome and control the way that this happens. And I understand that on a business perspective, it is logical and reasonable to do these things. But on a creative level, you actually stifle your own personal creativity, and it shows in the creativity that you do. For me, when I sit there and go, okay, what is this channel doing? Or what is that channel doing? And how is my channel doing? And oh my God, is my channel not good enough? And how do I change this and that? I'm constantly analyzing, and I'm not being kind. I'm not giving myself constructive criticism. I'm just criticizing myself because I'm not doing what other channels are doing, and I'm not expanding as fast as other channels are. But it's about knowing that the seeds that have been planted are meant to grow. And when you are in that state, and you guys don't have to be tarot readers or YouTubers or anything like that. It can literally be for anything. Like you could put in an investment, you could invest in some sort of stocks, knowing that this stock is meant to take off because your guides have told you this is what you should be investing in. And you sit there and you watch the numbers and you watch the numbers and you watch it plummet. And then you're like, well, why the hell did I get drawn to invest in this? And sometimes it's literally about the long game. It's about knowing that it's meant to blow up when it's meant to blow up. And so you don't sit there and hyperanalyze it. You go about creating your life until that happens. Whew. Okay, so can we get any final messages for pile one? Guys, seriously, we have the card trust and adaptation. I absolutely love that. I love, love, love that. So this is, again, about you trusting in what you are doing, what you are changing, what you are moving, what you are flowing, how you have shifted everything. It's about shifting the ways in which you perceive things to know that you can trust the changes that you've made. The reciprocity is in allowing the universe to say, you know what, you have planted your seeds. You've been working with me or us on this area. You've summoned your power. You will have clarity on your path forward. That's why I'm leaving this area very clear, because this is your clarity. This is how you work with the universe. You see your seeds grow by summoning your power, by understanding that the only thing that you control is your own mentality, and you have the ability moving forward, because the most pertinent information for you in moving forward is to stay clear in what you need. I know the Knight of Swords is usually like the messenger of the deck, but it's about your mental clarity. That's what I'm feeling here. It's about trusting yourself, trusting the changes that you've made. Yes, see, the observer. Trusting the changes that you have made and allowing yourself to literally observe things. It's, again, this higher perspective. You've observed certain things, but now it's time for you to observe what the universe is going to do for you. And when you choose to say, okay, I trust that the universe is going to have these seeds grow, I'm going to pull myself back up into this higher perspective, into the observer role. I'm going to stop trying to control anything more or less than my own thoughts about this, and be really in touch with my intuition and move myself forward in a state of clarity from here on out. And From there, then you start creating the world that you desire to live in. You open yourself and align yourself in this powerful area of equality, equal give and take. You understand that this world is built on polarities. And even though it's built on polarities, you have the capability of being the mystic, of standing in the middle, of saying, I hold the power to create what I wish to create. I can adapt what I need to adapt to. I can change what I need to change, and I can drop the burdens that need to fall away because I'm not meant to continue carrying them. I have observed everything that I am meant to observe within others. Now it's time to observe myself. Once I observe myself, now I see that the only true justice and fairness is in understanding that my thoughts create my reality. And as my thoughts create my reality, the more I clear anything in my surroundings, anything in my life, any interactions, any persons, or anything like that, I clear the energy that I'm working with. Another example that is coming to mind is I just recently cleared out my email inbox. And I had emails in there from like 2019 all the way, like thousands of emails that I just was like, okay, I don't want to read this. I'm just doing whatever with it. And I literally cleared it out to the point that this morning I got this message in there and it was like, enjoy your clear inbox. And that's how it feels. It's like, okay, now I'm open for new messages. Now I'm open for new awarenesses because I did something physical to clear energy, to clear confusion, to clear cloudiness. You can do this. And as you do this, you're learning how to control your own instinctual actions and reactions so that you are sitting in your full power and watching your seeds grow, watching the things that you have done take off, just like the hair. Just take off because you know that this is now the time for you to experience it. That's what divine justice really means in your life right now. It means understanding that you're now moving into a state of being aligned and attuned and ready for this next stage because you have done everything that you need to do to adapt, to trust, to observe all these different facets of yourself and the ways in which you interact with the outside world. And you have been willing to drop the burdens, drop the weight, drop the heaviness, and move forward in clarity. It's about you transforming through the act of reflecting and then creating the world that you want to live in, the world that is true to you without worry about anyone else, because if it's true to you, then it is true and meant for everyone else. And that's really, really incredible. So pile one, this was quite an amazing reading. I am very, very honored to have been able to bring this forward. I want to say thank you so much for being here, for your amazing energy, for everything that you have gone through to this point, and for the strength that you have within you. I want to say thank you so much to your guides and mine for facilitating the connection between our energies. And I want to say thank you so much to the goddess Sekhmet for her message and her energy within this reading and in your life at this point in time. And I do want to say thank you so much to Spirit. Spirit, it is always so amazing to sit here with you and to be able to channel these messages and to feel you moving through me and reaching out to others, reaching to their hearts, reaching to their souls, reaching to their awareness of how much power they hold within them. And me being able to do that as your voice in this world is such an honor. And I want to say thank you so much. Thank you. All right, pile one, if this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming readings. Down in the description box, you'll find links to my author page on Amazon, links to donate to my channel and book a personal reading, as well as to Rising Sign Messages, which is my sister channel. At the end of this month, on the 23rd, I am doing a collaboration with Odessa Mall and Damselflies, and we are doing this 3-way collaboration right before Christmas for all of you guys. And for anyone who likes, comments, and subscribes in all 3, you will be entered into a drawing for a free 15-minute reading with me. So make sure you guys check that out, check that collaboration out, and, interact with all of the channels. That would be amazing. And I would love to give you guys a free reading. Again, because I've already given at least one away by now. So let me know in the comment section below, pile ones, how this resonated. All right, you guys, I've talked your ear off. I love you all, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose the Hanshase Shonen, or the distant Reiki symbol, as well as the card 21, Kunam, with resourcefulness, this is your message. And again, I apologize to anyone if I am butchering the deity's name. I am not familiar with him. And because of that, I do want to read from the book to start off with. And it says, he is often represented with a human body and the head of a ram. He is considered the divine maker of pots. He gives life to his creations by modeling them on a lathe with clay from the Nile. He also shaped the egg of creation. He is a deity associated with male fertility and procreative potency, fire inherent in the symbol of the ram. In breathing new life into things, Kunam is seen as a health giver. New positive beginnings or the birth of something powerful and inspiring in your life lie on the horizon for you, such as the creation or production of new things. Action and resourcefulness under the influence of Kunam are bearers of fruit. With Kunam's energy and resourcefulness, as well as the Hanshase Shonen and the card number 21, so we're talking about the world card energy here, Saturn energy. And if you guys missed my introduction, I do 100% suggest that you go back and watch it, because the imagery, the vision that I got while I was channeling the introduction about sifting through the sands of time really deeply applies here. But we're working with the concept of retribution versus reciprocity. And retribution in the sense of cause and effect, karma. This is Saturn's area of influence in our lives. But it's not quite karma. Because retribution, if you go and you look at the etymology of the word, or you look at some of the older versions of the word, it was seen as a reward for actions taken. And over time, it has adapted to being rewards or punishments for actions that have been taken by people, by places, by a person, by a thing, however you want to phrase it. But divine retribution and divine reciprocity, we look at one as being a cause and effect relationship. The retribution is what happens based off of what we have done, what we have enacted, or what we have chosen not to engage with in our lives, versus reciprocity, where it is a mutually co-creative relationship between us and the universe. When we're working with this energy, and because there is this overarching energy of Saturn here, of Saturn saying, you have to be grounded, you have to know this, you have to know that this is about the path that you're on. And Kunam talking about new beginnings and things awakening within you in order to start building some sort of, procreation in this sense and male fertility, when I'm tapping into this energy, is about this kind of overhaul, reworking of your divine masculine energy. And I am here to tell you personally, when you have your divine masculine kind of in the garage or, under repairs, if you will, it takes a lot of time and effort to create, because the divine feminine is more receptive. She doesn't do the constant action orientation. So she needs a lot more time to really go with the flow, to rest, to rejuvenate. The reason why I feel like this has everything to do with your divine masculine being in the shop, so to speak, is because with this distant Reiki symbol, it's kind of like with a distant Reiki symbol, it's about energy healing that transcends time and space. You can send it anywhere, anytime, any place. what I'm getting from this is actually an awakening of a part of your divine masculine energy that has been stuck in ancient times. It's this full completion cycle of something within your heart, within your soul, actually, deeper than your heart. It goes all the way to your soul, to the essence of your being, to the origins of yourself. And something has been stuck there based off of an action in the past that may have been repeating, like on repeat over and over and over again. And you have learned how to love yourself and balance out your energies a lot more in this lifetime, which is something that I feel as though your soul has really been needing you to do, is find this balance, find this stability of embracing both your energies, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And because of that, it's like you projected some sort of healing energy into the past, into your divine masculine in the past. And I'm getting like ancient vibes here. I mean, like Lemuria, Atlantis, Avalon, back with like the Isle of Skye or the Isle of Man, either one. I'm getting kind of like an energy of like back before it was as earthly as it was, that area. And I want to say it's in Ireland or Scotland. That area was shrouded in kind of a mysterious energy and kind of magical energy with a Tuatha Dé Danann. And I don't know. I'm just picking up there was some of you, it was back during that time. Some of you, it went even further back with the Atlantean crystal portals and the Lemurian sea portals and things like that, where some action was taken, and it's almost as though you left a piece of your soul back in that time. And because you left a piece of your soul back in that time, it was a piece of your divine masculine energy that had taken an action that had long-term ramifications. And because of that, it has led you on this path of realizing what you contain within yourself. And this resourcefulness that you're moving through right now is helping you understand. So in a big way, you may have gone through a phase in which you kind of rejected the earth. And I don't mean like denied coming down to earth as far as reincarnations. In fact, you guys are some of the oldest souls I've touched as of late. And your souls very much feel as though you probably resonate with hearing like you've been here since the dawn of man. You have been here since, the scientists say that, apes started walking upright and whatever, and the fallacy of that. But you're like, good job trying. And it's not in like a diminatory way or a diminutive way. It's more like you're like, will they ever understand this? Like when will they ever stop trying to use science to explain spirituality or science to explain the soul? You can't do that. You have that part within you that is that ancient and has been here over and over and over and over again. So much so that you may resonate with starseeds, but you may have been a starseed that stopped seed jumping around the time of Atlantis and Lemuria. And with the fall, you may have chosen to stay. And if that's the case, well, hello, my brethren, because that's pretty much how I have always felt about my soul in a lot of ways, is like I resonate with a lot of starseed energies. And the stars definitely call to me like they're calling me home this lifetime, deeply, deeply calling me home this lifetime. But I feel as though I've been here on Earth for such a long time that it's almost as though I've forgotten that I belong to the stars. And you guys may have experienced that, where you've had to learn how to see the skies as a resource, to see the actual ancientness of your soul as a resource. When we're working with resourcefulness, it's not about what you have around you. It's not about your physical world. Everything that I pick up from your energy is learning that everything that you need is contained within you. And I know in a lot of ways, especially with this first or third quarter moon, I'm filming this before the third quarter moon in Virgo, which happens to fall, I want to say on the 16th of December. I'm filming this about a week in advance from that moon phase. But with that moon phase, it really is a lot about you tapping into this energy. So you guys are right on par for the moon cycles, for what's going on in the cosmos. And that can seem kind of weird. And here's the thing. Yesterday morning, I was looking up and it was December 8th. Today is the 9th. I was looking up at the sky in the morning. And in the mornings in North Dakota, when we get up, like it's still dark out. It's still pretty dark out. With daylight savings time enacted, it's still pretty dark. I apologize. I needed to yawn. But as I looked up at the sky, I could see the huge full moon. And I knew that the full moon was in Gemini. And because of that, I recognized that what looked like it could have been attributed to being a star was not a star. It was actually Mars, because both of those are in Gemini. And I found myself just staring at it like it was magical, but then thinking about the fact that Mars in retrograde is impacting us so deeply, so profoundly right now as a collective. It is so strong in our energy fields. And we've been feeling it all year. And we're going to continue to feel the after effects all year next year, because that's just how it goes. Like there's like this year-long recovery time. That's why it's always like when Venus or Mars goes into a retrograde cycle, more so Venus than anything, you have the year Venus goes retrograde, where you have all of the questions leading up to it. And then that retrograde is a very intense cycle. And then as she comes out, she really makes her presence known in the direct aspect through the rest of the next year after her retrograde. And we go through these cycles and these planets that seem like tiny, tiny little stars, tiny little dots in the night sky. And the moon looks so huge. And that spatial distortion, that thought that like, okay, but if the moon is so much closer, shouldn't the moon impact me so much more than, say, it being conjunct Mars in retrograde? Why is this Mars retrograde energy as powerful, if not more, than what the full moon energy is? And we think about these things and we don't realize that we have a kind of distorted perception of spatial reasoning in this life. We think based off of the physical things that we have, like our sight, taste, our physical. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the word. This has been happening more and more. Spirit, can I get some help? Our physical senses. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you so much. If you guys are experiencing anything like this, because it didn't come through when I was channeling for other piles, if you experience moments where like the simplest word just won't come to you, please understand that you're not like, okay, I'm not a medical professional. So if this is true aphasia and you are worried, please go see your doctor. But if you are having symptoms of aphasia and you're like, well, what the heck is going on? And sometimes you can actually pull the words out. It may be wise to sit down with your guides and be like, okay, what's going on? Because that to me is a huge awakening symptom. And I've been having those a lot lately too, myself. So I feel like I'm going through another awakening stage in my life as well. Now, with this, it's as you move forward, all this ancient past energy is now coming forward to infuse your divine masculine energy. And as it does that, it's helping heal all of the divine masculine along the way. You guys must have done like some sort of a radical acceptance phase in your life where you're like, okay, I 100% own every mistake I've made. I know that I'm not a perfect person, and I know that I do this and this and this, but I still love myself. And I feel like you guys have really learned how to connect to Mama Gaia or Mother Earth. And that's a really beautiful thing. I was very, very much in the higher realms most of my life. And I have found a way to really ground myself in the here and now and in the present moment and in this earthly existence that we have and really, really value humanity. And I actually am reading this book that says, Let Your Spirit Guides Speak. And there's something that one of the guides say in this book about how some spiritualists are so much in the upper realms that they are no good to this earthly existence. And it's because you do not connect here that you cannot help here. And we're meant to connect here and help here. And when you tap into the natural resources that you have within you and you start healing all these past things that have really held you back from moving forward, you actually start connecting more and more with being human, connecting more and more with being here and experiencing this life, no matter how it looks. And that's amazing. So how this reading is going to work moving forward, now that I've channeled all the initial energy, is we've got these two here are going to represent what the effective actions taken are. So this is your retribution pile. And this is where reciprocity can be found in your life. And then we're going to get some final messages by shuffling a couple other oracles. But before we do that, we're going to actually tap into the tarot energy before we get into the oracle energy. I know I'm flip-flopping at this reading. And we're going to be finding out what is being sifted out of your life right now, out of your energy, out of your awareness, whatever it is, something that's being sifted out. And again, this is another reference back to that intro with the sifting sands. So please go back and watch it if you haven't. And then on the back of the deck is going to be a message from your guides about what is of the utmost importance for you to move forward. So spirit and spirit guides for pile 2. Can we find out what is being sifted out of their life, energy, minds, hearts? Okay, we've got the 10 of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles. Oh, I love it already. The first message that I get with these cards is what is being sifted out is quite literally the weight of starting something new. So when we start something new, we can really challenge ourselves. Like, what am I starting? What am I leaving behind? Is this the right thing to do? Can I handle this? Do I have the resources? Do I have the support? Do I have the guidance? Am I doing the right thing? Like, we can really wrap ourselves up in that. Like, we can get really, really intensely wrapped up in that. But what I'm seeing here with these cards and what I heard right away is you're literally sifting out any kind of heavy baggage that keeps you from starting fresh. And it doesn't mean that you're like scrapping everything, burning everything down. It's you just starting fresh with a new, fresh energy, moving forward, taking that next step with this new, fresh energy. It's really beautiful. It's like, okay, whatever happened, but I'm not going to let the weight of that carry forward into my next phase. Yeah, look, the Lovers, you've literally made a very firm decision. You may have your moon in Taurus. You may have Taurus in the 4th house or Cancer in the 2nd house. You don't have to have those placements for this to resonate, but with this Lovers card, we have the moon and we have Taurus energy, and that's what I'm picking up a lot, is those kind of things. And then we've got the Knight of Chalices, and on the back, we have the 6 of Chalices. Yes, this is about understanding the value of what the past holds, rather than looking at the past as though it's this nostalgic piece that you want to always go back to, or that you romanticize, or you put rose-colored glasses on. The past has now become something in which you can harness as an actual tool moving forward. It's like I've aligned everything that I need to, and I know I have the strength and the stability. My truest self is being reflected in the world around me now. And with this, you're literally like, okay, I don't want to keep carrying around this. Do I need to hold myself back? Do I need to like this, that, and the other thing? All of those heaviness, that heavy burden, you're literally sifting out everything that has felt heavy to you, even interactions. And you're making firm choices moving forward. Like, you're like, okay, no, I'm not going to carry this. I'm not going to keep having this weight upon my shoulders, having this weight upon my heart. I'm going to drop the weight and I'm going to plant this seed. And it's almost like you turn all of these wands into the roots of the seeds that you're planting. You're like, no, I'm going to take these, I'm going to transform them. They're going to be the roots. So I'm going to take all the burdens that felt like I was carrying, and I'm going to make them be the strongest roots, the strongest stability and grounding I've ever had in my life. And from there, I'm going to choose to take that forward path into my own passions, into what makes me feel alive, into creating what is right for me. And in that way, you're really awakening all of those older and more ancient parts of your divine masculine that's like, no, I know what to do now. I'm not afraid to do what I need to do. I know what is right for me. And you understand, you may have been learning this cycle, this lesson for quite a while, that while there is retribution for everything, while there is a cause and effect, and there may be perceived consequences, everything comes with a lesson and a blessing. Everything comes with a chance to expand, to grow, to change, to learn, to become new, to become stronger, to become more divine, to become more aware. All of these things that we go through are moments and opportunities to do that. And as we take the time to sit down with the past, to sit down with the present, to sit down with ourselves, to really project that healing through our entire lives, we take the burdens that once were weighing us down and keeping us from moving forward in the right way, or in a true way, or in a positive, upbeat, I know what I'm doing way. And we take those burdens that held us back and we transform them into our greatest strengths and resources. It's transforming it into the roots. And so the Six of Chalices, the Six of Cups, becomes not a card of romanticizing the past, but of finding the magic within yourself that you've contained this entire time, but that the negative illusions and mindsets of the past have been blocking off. And once those have broken through, now you have like the power of the sun shining through and really giving to you. So let's take a look at, this is what is the effect of actions taken? This is your retribution. We have River of Blessings and releasing constraint. See, and that was the energy. And with 47, that reduces to an 11. And we've got a 10, which reduces to a 1, and an ace, which is a 1. So we have, and a 6 and 2 6s. So we've got 1s and 6s. This is about a brand new beginning in stability, in harmony, in unconditional love, in peace. It's this choice of, I'm going to move forward in a loving way in the future. In like, this is what I'm choosing. The retribution, and again, remember that I said retribution originally was rewards for actions taken. So your retribution is actually looking like a reward. It's a river of blessings. It's all these things that have been holding you back. Just like I said, I'm just literally putting this together because it's like releasing constraints was exactly what I said you were doing with this 10 of Wands. Wow, the cards are lining up. Ooh, let's keep going. High Priestess, harness mystic power. Yes. See, you're projecting it forward into the future. Look how they are so similar. They are literally all like, this is exactly what I want to do. The Knight of Chalices is moving forward in this passionate embrace. And even the arrow is being aimed at the one aiming for the future. It's about you knowing your path, knowing what is right for you, harnessing that and projecting it forward now. You've done everything that you need to heal the past. Now you're projecting all of this awareness, these resources, and this healing that you've done into the future. You're not focusing on, it's almost like you're not focusing on the present quite yet because you're constructing the future. So some of you, actually for most of you, you may have had like I said, your divine masculine is in the shop. So your divine masculine may have been going to the past to relive things, to reevaluate things, to review things, to go through it, to understand it, to become aware of it, to grow from it, to learn from it, not because of an intention or a desire to change it, but rather to understand it and transcend it so that it can be transformed into something more stable within yourself, so that you can stand firm in exactly what you're meant to do and start constructing the life that you want to be living and start it's almost like Your divine masculine is now from here forth going to be projected into the future for a while, still in the shop, being projected forward into the future because you've chosen to take all these burdens and create roots with them as something that actually gives you stability rather than weighs you down. And now you're projecting yourself forward to create a more reciprocal life. So let's find out what you're creating. Because with this Six of Chalices over here, this is this future energy, this reciprocity energy. So you're taking the past into the future, but I don't feel like it's in any kind of negative way, especially with this river of blessings. And that's really what I get with this Six of Chalices, is it's this river of blessings. You're taking all of that from the past and projecting it forward. And I apologize for the synchronization delay with the audio and visual, guys. Technology right now, you know? So let's see what else. Hermit, retreat and recharge. See, this is exactly it. You've taken all of this and now you're popping it forward so that you can stay in the shop and really recharge your batteries, really rejuvenate yourself now. And then, 34, loss, lack, fear, victimization. It is giving you the opportunity to take all of the lessons from being in that fear-based state and projecting all that healing forward so that you know that anytime there is any kind of perception of loss or lack, fear, victimization, anything like that that gets triggered in the future based off of past interactions, you already have all the resources and all the tools within you from all of this healing that you've done. You have that all being projected forward so that you know that when these times hit, it's okay to pull back. It's okay to retreat, to recharge, to go back into the shop, to heal these things because you have grown and developed this very strong balance and very firm truth in who you are. You've really set those roots down and made that choice to live your most passionate life. And that's very admirable. So let's just get some final messages. What do you guys need to know right now? Wow, that's a lot. Nope. Okay. Well, I know you guys saw them, but if they're meant to be out, they will come out again. I'm just going to shift these up real quick. So can we get some closing messages for pile 2? I feel like I need to help you guys understand, like, this energy here feels like this very hyper aware of when to move, when not to move, because you've taken the healing from the past and really, really transformed it. And so when other people get into this state, you're like, nah, I'm gonna do my thing. Whenever any old fears pop up, you have this wisdom. It's like you have an angel on your shoulder whispering this wisdom to you already. You know how to retreat. You know to recharge. Yeah, you've got this strength within you. And this always makes me think of the High Priestess because in the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, the High Priestess is a Siberian tiger, and Siberian tigers were like my favorite animal. And you even have the triple moon energy. Yeah, energy. You have this beautiful strength, this beautiful power, this beautiful energy within you that you may have been holding back from the world actually being able to fully engage in it. Perhaps because the world has not been so kind to you in the past. But this is really helping you to come out of the hermit phase in time. But in order to come out of the hermit phase, you have to understand the cycles of your own energies and the cycles of the world and the cycles of wisdom. And that comes from the past. So really where you can find reciprocity is when you are in this state where you may be triggered, you may feel victimized, or someone may actually victimize you. Like I will never negate actual victimization. I am a survivor of domestic violence. I will never negate actual victimization. But when you're in that state of that being triggered because you're no longer in that, where you find reciprocity, a give and take, is in understanding that you have so much support. You have all of these constraints lifted. You have made the choice to live this way. So it's okay. It's safe for you to really retreat. in the past, you may not have been able to, but now it's okay for you to retreat, to do what is right for you, to regain your strength, to recharge your energy so that you can reveal the lessons, the wisdom, the truth, and the beauty of who you are to the world every single second that is absolutely right for you. I really love that. I really love that. So we have the days of the week. Yeah, that's understanding the ebbs and flows of everything, understanding the moon cycles, understanding the ways you may be really drawn to astrology. You may be very drawn to the moon. You may be drawn to witchcraft. You may be a practicing witch. You may work with a lot of air energy, water energy, earth energy. I don't know why those three specifically, but I'm not getting a lot of fire energy for you guys, even with Kunam here, who is a fire deity and related to the element of fire. I'm actually getting the other elements more so than fire. It's almost like, and that could be because I can tell that your divine masculine is kind of in the shop where you don't really want to constantly take these directed actions. But yeah, we have get curious and versatility as your close. It's about learning all the different facets of who you are and what your energy can do and create and what you can do with your energy. And it's so funny. I actually, the reading that I had planned before this one kind of like butted into the front of the line was talking about productivity and the ability to do things. I had somebody comment about how it seems like I do so much and wanted to know how I do it. And I wanted to turn that into a reading to help you guys understand that part of your own energy. And that's kind of where you guys are at with your divine masculine, as you're starting to learn the versatility and kind of your own energetic diversity. But in order to do that, you have to understand your divine masculine. So you had to understand the pieces of your divine masculine that were left in the past. And it could have been really hard to grasp around a traditionally like logical mind, which maybe that was why you guys felt like you needed to deny this earth existence and this earth plane so strongly, because in order to fully embrace kind of the more mystical and magical parts of you that have done things in the past life experiences, you had to be disconnected from the earth. So you had to go through this phase of being disconnected and then healing that and then coming back to yourself and grounding into your energy, getting that stability and that balance within yourself and in your life. And now you're going to take that strength and that wisdom that you have, and you're going to project that energy forward to really reveal your truest self to the world, reveal how versatile you can be. But in order to do that, you have to go into this state of reciprocity with the universe. You have to be like, okay, I understand that I still have these parts of me that can be triggered. When they get triggered, I need to be able to pull back. I need to be able to retreat. And as I do that, I have to be able to put trust in the universe and the wisdom that I have within, knowing that the universe has my back. And that in and of itself is really being versatile. That's really knowing your own versatility, knowing all the ways in which you can be something and do something. That's understanding how you can be kind to yourself, how you can be gentle with yourself and create this existence that you want based off of a past that didn't pan out the way that you wanted it to. Now you can take all the pieces of the past and be like, I'm going to just make them what I want them to be. This versatility speaks back to, again, how you took those 10 wands and turned them into the roots and the structure of what you're building now. So moving forward, you're going to be moving forward in a more balanced state based off of the past, where all the blessings are going to be overflowing and you're not going to be feeling this loss and lack anymore. You're going to actually be feeling more stable, more firm, because as these triggers come up, you're going to know that it's the right time to pull back. And as you pull back, you retreat, you recharge, you allow yourself to go into the shop. Are some of you guys car enthusiasts? Because this analogy just keeps coming up. It's going to help you go in and get curious about what kind of upgrades that you can do under the hood. Like, can I upgrade my energy? Can I upgrade my engine? What can I do? And as you do these upgrades, then you come forward into the world and you reveal to the world what it is that everyone else is also capable of. And then you really ground yourself once more in this earth existence, in this humanity, and you shine that forward in the world. And it's really beautiful because everything that you're doing right now that I can feel is mostly energetic. It feels more energetic and emotional than it does anything else in the world. And that's beautiful because when you're going through all those energies, that's when you start changing the physical. I know, baby. I know. David just walked outside, and so Willow's like, oh my gosh, you guys are leaving soon because he and I have a date coming up here. So pile 2, go on. Come on. Pile 2, this is all I am seeing for you. I want to say thank you so much for being here. This was an amazing message, and I am really impressed by your energy. I just wanted to throw that out there. But I just want to say thank you for being here and for being you and for all the energetic healing that you have been doing through time and space. It's very, very impressive. I want to say thank you to your guides and mine for facilitating the connections between our energies. And I want to say thank you so much to Spirit. Spirit, this has been just an absolutely incredible channeling session again. And I am always so honored to be able to be your mouthpiece here for this collective and to speak and channel these messages forth to bring awareness, clarity, and peace to the people that need these messages the most. So thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you. All right, pile 2. If this resonated, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming readings. Check the description box for my links to my second channel, Rising Sign Messages, as well as links to donate to my channel, book a personal reading, and links to my author page on Amazon. Let me know in the comment section below how this resonated. And I did want to remind you guys that I am doing a collaborative reading with Odessa Mall and Damselflies on the 23rd of December. And with that, anybody who likes, comments, and subscribes to all 3 channels during that time, you will be entered into a drawing for a free 15-minute reading with me. So make sure you guys definitely go and do that and check everything out. And from here, I'm going to leave you. And I want to say thank you again one more time. I will see you guys all at my next reading. I love you all. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the Halo symbol as well as the card number 30 with Amut and Devastation, this is your message for what your guides want you to know about retribution and okay, we're going to start that over again. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the Halo symbol as well as the card 30 with Amut and Devastation, this is your message about that your guides want you to know about retribution versus reciprocity. What is sifting out of your life? What do you need to know moving forward? You know, the whole kind of vision. If you missed my intro, I do encourage you to go back and rewatch it. There was a channeled message in there about a vision I was having and messages I was getting. But here's the thing about this pile in particular. With this pile in particular, I get a lot of energy of stuff that really needs to be brought into the light of day. So we're working with Amut, and Amut is the god of the hell, the god of hell and the god of the afterlife. It's a hybrid figure of a lion, a crocodile, and a hippopotamus. And when Ma'at uses the scales to weigh the heart of a person who has passed away, your heart gets weighed against the weight of a feather to find out how genuine, how kind, how good-hearted you were in this life. Those souls, Anubis takes those souls either to the next journey or to the underworld. When Anubis takes the souls to the underworld, Anubis takes the souls to Amut, who devours the souls and the hearts of those who made mistakes in life. Mistakes such as excess pride, presumption, or making assumptions, greed, eagerness for conquest, and is really a representation of the consequences of our past mistakes. Now, retribution, as I spoke of in the beginning, is about cause and effect. It is pretty much right on par with karma. And I know I've done a couple of readings about this before, but this energy came in and just kind of blasted through the list of readings that I have scheduled to film or to put out. It just was like, no, this needs to come first. This needs to come before the end of the year of 2022. This awareness is aching, yearning, speaking volumes to come out. Now, with Amut in particular, Amut represents how we feel, not just about others, but also about ourselves. It's those deep, dark parts of ourselves that we don't necessarily want to take a look at. Have I been the most genuine person? Does my soul belong where I say it does? But in this way, Amut is actually coming forward as a kind of beacon of protection, especially coupled with the halo, which is the symbol of psychic protection in Kuruniki Reiki. It's associated with Archangel Raphael, and it does protect against those unseen forces that attack. Those unseen forces that attack, and the halo symbol and Archangel Raphael, in this case, act much like Anubis, ushering a soul into one area or the other. Now, there's a few things that have come up as I was preparing for your reading. The first thing was, when I was a kid, so when I was little, my father was an alcoholic, and my whole life was very tumultuous. My younger years were very chaotic. Everything was very unsteady, very unstable, because my dad he got drunk a lot. Like he got drunk and he'd get angry and he'd come home yelling and screaming and breaking things and swearing. And it was very, very frightening for me. And as a very young, gifted psychic child, what I didn't understand, because, as we grow up, we were taught these are imaginary friends, but I actually had an alligator, which I kind of associate alligators and crocodiles pretty much synonymously when it comes to spirit animals. But I literally had an alligator who was my spirit animal. I didn't call him that. I thought it was my imaginary pet. He had a collar. I took him on walks. Like I took my dog on walks. Like I'd have one hand on an imaginary leash walking Alan the alligator, and the other one walking my dogs, Sam and Sadie. And Sam and Sadie, and I remember so vividly them playing together, and it was like they could see him, but they weren't afraid of him. And he brought me so much comfort and so much peace. And I have gone through, as I have advanced into my spiritual gifts as an adult, I've had these visions and moments of awareness where I've been beating myself up, and I've gone into a meditative state, and I've had this same vision of me on one side of the Nile and a crocodile on the other. And it's a very real crocodile on the other side. And as I would try to cross the water, the crocodile would come out and it would be like it's eating something, but it wouldn't be eating me. And I never felt fear, and I just felt at peace. And during all of that, that's when I started looking up different deities that were associated with crocodiles and alligators. Amut was one of them. At the same time, with this halo, I've been playing Pokemon Go a lot with my husband, just as something fun for us to do together that we used to do. And then I kind of walked away from it because I was like, oh, I'm a spiritual person. And then I realized who gives? Who gives it an F? Honestly, I'm playing Pokemon Go. Big deal. No offense, guys, but Chloe Taylor literally used to be a professional gamer on YouTube and Twitch. She games all the time. There's no judgment here. I was judging myself. But there's this thing that you do in battles where you have a protective shield, but it runs out. And I was sitting there seeing this protective shield go up, and then seeing defenses fell and protection fell. And sometimes we forget that we have our own ability to protect ourselves in this world, that we don't have to move in a state of utter destruction or devastation in our lives because we feel so much fear that we start turning that fear into guilt, into shame, into blame, into fighting against other people and lashing out at other people. Because the mood also talks about taking ownership of the things that we do, like taking our own ownership. This is about really stepping in and being very honest with ourselves and saying, you know what, I have not always been this person, but I recognize that I have not always been this person, this highest person that I could be. I recognize that I'm not moving from my genuine nature, my genuine heart, my genuine soul. I recognize that. And I'm telling you guys, I've been through this phase. My first book, Chemistry with Kismet, and even my third book, not my second one, but my third book, Something Spiritually Catchy. And both of those, I talk about interactions that I've had with people in my life, through my childhood. Most of the first book is about romantic connections, like my boyfriends in high school, the father of my children, the fathers of my children, and how those relationships went, the trauma, the pain, the anguish, but also the parts that I took ownership of. For instance, and this is just an example to help you guys understand. In my first marriage, I went through a time frame where he was having an affair. He was having an affair with one of my best friends under my roof in my house. It was awful and traumatic. He was drugging me. It was just this horrible situation. And when we came out of that time frame, the dynamics of our relationship had changed irrevocably. And I, as an empath and a very caring person, decided that I was not going to feel anymore. And I shut a part of myself down, a crucial, essential part of who I am, a part of my heart, a part of my soul, part of my gifts. I shut it down. Willingly said, I'm not doing this anymore. And the power of the mind is that when you make a decision that firmly, it sticks. That's a firm decision you make. But I became this person I wasn't proud of. I didn't think about what my kids needed beyond daycare and being fed and being, what I needed to do with them at any given point in time, until I could get myself out of the house, until I could get away and go and work. And I'm not proud of it because I wasn't as engaged of a mother as I am now, as I have been over the past 7-8 years of my life. I wasn't as engaged of a mom. Cooper really was the saving grace to bring me back to being an emotionally aware, loving, caring, nurturing mother. It took me getting pregnant with Cooper to kind of snap me back into my senses. However, this is not that. This is me telling you. And the reason I'm telling you guys this is I really don't care. It's literally written in Chemistry with Kismet. But one of the things I say a lot is hurt people hurt people. And that's something that I put in Something Spiritually Catchy. In Chemistry with Kismet, what I said is when you don't want to be in a relationship, you're not going to act and behave and move through the world and through your life as though you are committed in your relationship. And I know this because I didn't want to be in my marriage, but I didn't know how to get out of it. I was scared. I was terrified. I was in victim mentality. So what did I do? I retaliated. I retaliated by cheating on him. Am I proud of that? Absolutely not. Do I see the scope of everything? Like I literally engaged in something that goes against every moral fiber that I have. Absolutely. I see how wrong I was. An eye for an eye in Hammurabi's code just doesn't work in this world, and it doesn't work for me. But it was not it was, I moved from a place of pain and caused devastation. I also used someone who was a very good friend, genuine, like my best friend. I used that connection and his emotions for me to build a relationship and gave him hope and took it away because I was too scared to continue through this path of devastation. So I created an illusion of a happy marriage as I came back to my husband and stopped the affair. But my husband, or my ex-husband now at the time, didn't even know about it. So I carried that within me. And we carry these mistakes that we make. Like, I'm here to tell you, I'm not a perfect person. I've made mistakes in my life. However, I've asked for forgiveness and I have forgiven myself because I know at that time I was doing the best I could at any given point in time. I am not proud of it. I did not do my best, but I am a better person today because of the lessons I have learned. When we fall to the pains and the ways that we believe that we have to move and behave and act, as in retaliation or manipulation, someone has manipulated me in the past, so now the only way that I can interact with others is to manipulate them, to make them believe this when this is actually true. Like, it's like believe A when B is actually the case. And a moot comes in and asks us to recognize this within ourselves, to recognize the ways in which we've misstepped, the ways in which we have misinterpreted, the ways in which we have harmed ourselves and others in our own actions. And one of the things that the halo symbol comes in and does is during this stage of self-reflection, when you have to go through this stage of self-reflection, that halo symbol is there to aid in growing with your self-awareness. It aids you in this so that you can more readily forgive yourself. Because I personally, from my experience and from the experiences that I've had working with a lot of different people on this journey, self-forgiveness is one of those really, really challenging lessons and things that we do in this life, giving ourselves forgiveness. I recognize that I was not X, Y, and Z for this situation, this person, this relationship, whatever. And though I was not, I see that I wasn't, and I know that I am capable of doing better. So I take ownership of the mistakes that I have made so that I can better myself in the future. If we stay in the state of fear that we are going to be cast to hell and fed to a moot, essentially, then we're in this constant state of reactionary fear. And it causes destruction. A moot doesn't want that. A moot wants us to recognize that everything can be resolved when we reflect on actions taken, reactions, things that we've done and said, and the ways in which we can make a positive change for the future in order to rise up, change our perspective, and take on a new way of being, a new perspective, a new person that is more true to who we are on this journey. And that's hard to do, but it's a call to be very honest with oneself. In the face of fear and in the face of what we might believe to be divine retribution, are we going to believe that we are worthy of being saved, of being protected, of being loved, of being healed? Or are we going to believe that we're only worthy of devastation and destruction? And if we believe the latter, do we not perpetuate that in every motion and moment in our lives? And if we do perpetuate that, then what are we doing to other people? Utter devastation. This is not to say that anyone in this pile is being called out. This is to say that if we all realize this about ourselves, that we're worthy of healing, that we're worthy of growing, that we are worthy of protection, then we don't need to fear devastation. We don't need to fear being thrown to hell and having our souls devoured. And we don't need to fear anyone else in this world either. We have beautiful protection. And even a moot is a very protective deity. When you work with this deity, you will find that the roles in which certain deities are given are simply those that are assigned, but that doesn't determine or decide what the energy and the emotionality and the true nature of the deity is. So as we move forward now from that message, I'm sorry guys, I knew your message was going to be longer. These oracle cards are what is the effect of the actions that have been taken. This is your retribution. This is where you can find reciprocity. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the tarot first. And we're going to ask the tarot to tell us what is being sifted out of your life, whether it's a mindset, a mentality, an energy, a person, a relationship, a job, whatever it is. We're just going to ask what's being sifted out so that we can get to the core of what is the utmost importance. That pile or grain of sand that's left in the hand from the intro, that's what we're getting to. And that's what we're going to see on the back of the deck is what is of the utmost importance moving forward. So we have the Queen of Wands. Okay. Okay. The Magician. The Chariot. And this is what's being sifted out here. So I want you guys to be patient, please, while the messages formulate. So we've got, you may be a Gemini sun or rising. You may be a Sagittarius sun as well, just because I can see the twins in the sun here, and they almost get this energy of opposition. So if you have a Sagittarius sun, it would be opposing Gemini. What else do we need to know about what's being sifted out? Okay. The Ace of Chalices or the Ace of Cups. And then what is of the most importance moving forward? We have the Two of Wands. Okay, well, I love that because the Two of Wands literally talks about, you know, looking into the future. So right now, what is being sifted out of your life is actually this, it's this fear that you're not worthy of standing in your power, of speaking your truth, of moving forward in a more balanced state, of opening yourself up to love. It's this feeling that you have to be protected from something or someone. What's being sifted out is you realizing that when you feel like you have to constantly protect yourself and you don't trust the universe and trust your angels and your guides to provide the protection that you are meant to have in this life, you actually hinder yourself from standing in your own power. You hinder your guides from giving you the protection, and you limit your ability to be as self-aware of the destruction and the devastation that is going on. Sometimes we have to see the devastation. Sometimes we have to become very aware of certain things. Sometimes we have to become aware of how not being honest with ourselves and not standing in our power can actually block us from seeing the truth of what we're capable of in this life. For you guys, what's being really sifted out is other people's opinions, other people's beliefs, other people's words, actions, behaviors, truths, so that you can move into a state of divine truth rather than other people's truths, so that you don't feel as though your cup being full is constantly being blocked. Like you have to constantly fight for it and strive for it. And you can't be all of who you are. You have to be what everybody else expects of you. This is being sifted out of your life right now so that moving forward, you can focus on moving forward. You can focus on what you've conquered, what you have mastered, and what you see for yourself projected into the future, and move from that state rather than in this state of, I have to constantly protect myself because someone is always trying to come at me, because I have to be pure and I have to be this and I have to be that. And it's realizing that you have the capability of standing in your own power. And there is power in knowing the mistakes you've made and not negating them, not avoiding them, but looking them directly in the face and saying, I know I made you, but I know I am better than that. I know I can rise above that. And I know I have. So I'm moving forward in a state of loving myself fully and truly, and knowing that there is no one else in the world that is capable of taking away the love that I have found for myself, because it is a divine truth and it is an internal truth and it is the truth of my heart and my soul. I see what could be. I see the devastation that could be, but I'm choosing to move forward in a way that bridges this self-awareness together inside of my heart with my connection to my guides, to spirit, and knowing that I am worthy of forgiveness, not just from other people, but from myself. Knowing that I am fallible because I am human, but that I embrace my divinity so that I can move forward in my life. Sometimes being very, very self-honest can feel like nothing but utter devastation in your life. It can feel like you are literally throwing yourselves to the world, to the wolves, and allowing for the world to just pick your bones, like just constantly take from you, because you're being this level of self-aware. You're being this level of open and honest. And that's something that I've experienced myself too, where, yeah, perhaps I could see it as though me being this open and this honest is opening me up to being attacked. But is that the case? No. What it is it's showing you that you can rise above your mistakes. You can forgive yourself. You can forgive others, and you can move on with your life and realize that when you go back and you look at it and you reflect on it, you see, hey, look how much power I have. Look at the power I have in sharing these lessons, in sharing these wisdoms, and sharing these victories, and this acceptance of who I am and what I'm capable of, instead of hiding myself away and feeling as though I cannot share my joy and my heart and my truth. Look at all you can do when you own the truth of who you are, and you know that there is nothing and no one that can ever bring this devastation into you, because you have this level of divine protection. If you were protected by a moot who would literally eat the heart and souls of anyone who would be willing to come after you, if a moot was your protector, would you stand in your level of self-awareness of the things that you've done wrong? It's a really hard question to ask, but it's a hard question to answer. But if you can answer that without wavering, and honestly, you're moving forward in your life in the way that you're meant to. You're saying, I understand all of this, but I'm not going to block my own vision. I'm not going to block my own truth. I'm going to take my truth and move forward and say, I'm moving forward out of the way that it was before. So let's see the retribution, the effect of actions taken. Awesome. We've got 28 with abundance, fortune, wealth, and plenty, and trader, exchange energy to create abundance. So to me, we've got abundance twice. So to me, what this says is, as you come into this state of self-awareness where it feels as though you're literally like crumbling everything internally and having to build yourself back up and repair everything from the ground up, and it's scary, what you're doing is you're building yourself into a state of abundance. You're building yourself into knowing your worth, knowing your value, and knowing that you're here to have equality and have that reciprocity. And that's really beautiful, because your retribution is literally you moving into a state of reciprocity, which means that you're ahead of the game. That's beautiful. So let's take a look at where you can find reciprocity. So we have Oracle, wait for important information, and 51, grateful optimism, joyous view of the future. Again, that's so awesome, because I said you're literally like looking towards the future right now. So where you can find reciprocity is in waiting for spirit to bring you the awareness that you need, knowing that you have done all of this work, you have come through all of this, you have literally survived it all, and you have really owned everything that you need to. And because you've done that, you can actually see a future that is free of all of that. So now you can wait for the information to come to light and hold to the knowingness of what you deserve, of knowing that you've done everything that you needed to do for yourself, and that from here on forward, your future is actually quite beautiful, quite victorious and blessed. So let's just get your final messages. We have balance with Libra energy. We've got dolphins and the yin yang. So this is about balance of work and play, balance of give and take. that's that reciprocity energy. Is there anything else that my pile 3 is? Yep. And we have sacred. It's understanding that your energy, your value, what you provide in this world and to others and for yourself, it's sacred. You are sacred. Even if it feels as though you have made mistakes, it does not negate the fact that you are sacred, that you carry a sacredness within you, that your soul is sacred. And when you balance out everything from the past to the present, when you balance out work and play, when you balance out what you give to others and what you give to yourself, and what you give to others and what they return to you in equality, you're literally moving through this world with a very sacred energy. Is there anything else we need here? We've got the alchemist. Yeah, that is that give and take, that it's alchemizing everything that has happened in the past to understand that certain things were out of our control, but they were there for our lessons. They were there for our growth. They were there for our advancement and our healing. And the destruction or devastation that you've gone through is nothing more or less than a moment for you to rebalance certain aspects of yourself, to remember how sacred you are in your heart and in your soul, and to alchemize the pains and the mistakes of the past so that you can stand in your own self-awareness, knowing that you are loved, protected, and worthy of healing, worthy of forgiveness, and move forward from there into this future that you're envisioning, where you receive your messages and your information in the way that is right for you, in a way that you don't have to explain to others. And you trust that because you are joyfully optimistic and deeply grateful for the journey as it has been. So, all right, pile 3. I love this because I actually expected your reading to go like really, really long. And man, your guides were just like, here you go, cut to the chase. And I love that. So I want to say thank you so much for being here. I want to say thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between our energies. And I want to say thank you so much to Amut for your presence and energy here today to bring forth this awareness into the collective for pile 3. And I want to say thank you so much to Spirit. Spirit, it is always such an honor to work with you and bring forth these messages, to work as your channel and to really help bridge your realm to our realm in this life. Thank you so much. All right, pile 3. If this resonated, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. In the description box below, you're going to find the links to my second channel, Rising Sign Messages, as well as links to donate or book a personal reading, and links to my author page on Amazon. On the 23rd, I am doing a collaboration with Odessa Mall and Damselflies, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. During that collaboration, anyone who likes, comments, subscribes to all 3 channels during those videos will be entered into a drawing to win a free 15-minute reading from me. So make sure you guys do all the fun stuff so that, you might have a chance of getting a free reading from me, which I would love to do for you guys. So let me know in the comment section below, pile 3, how this resonated. If you want to share any stories, anything like that, reach out to other pile 3s. I think you guys could really use the community right now. And I do want you to know that this is a safe and sacred space for you as a community as well. All right, pile 3, I love you guys. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 4. If you chose the dicomio symbol as well as the card number 29 with Heka and alchemical force, this is your message for what your guides want you to know about retribution versus reciprocity. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, if you guys missed the intro, I would strongly encourage you to go back and watch it, for the sake that during the intro, I was actually channeling a vision about the purpose of this reading. And this reading actually was like, I like to say, kind of slammed to the front of the line. It was like slammed into my awareness. And then it was like, okay, now I need to do this. Now it's time for this. And I wasn't planning on this reading or anything like that. But when the guides come to me and are like, this is what needs to happen, I absolutely 100% try to make sure that I am following that guidance. Sometimes it's kind of, I can bicker with guides, but there's always a rhyme, a reason, and a purpose. Now we're working with the dicomio symbol. Before we get into Heka, we're going to talk about the dicomio symbol. And I apologize if you guys can hear a lot of background noise. I am filming this kind of later than I had planned to tonight. We just got home and Willow is outside. Give me just a moment. Okay, I apologize for that, guys. She's being kind of finicky about whether she wants to be inside or outside, and it's pretty cold and dark outside. But we were talking about the symbols before we get into Heka. We are working with the dicomio symbol. It is the 4th Reiki symbol when you study traditional Usui Reiki. It's called the master symbol. But this symbol is actually known as the great shining light or great luminous shining. It is about shining oneself out into the world in a state of mastery, knowing that you have the mastery, the authority, the life force in control, not even in control, but it's within your grasp, within your power internally to direct this powerful life force out into the world in a way that is right and meant for you and your journey. This is about working with light and clarity and intention, understanding and your presence. Now, when we think about the master symbol, this means that you have gone through the prior 2 stages, studying the prior 3 symbols. This is a lot. I am actually picking up a lot of Emperor energy. So you may have Aries strong in your chart, Mars in your chart, which is really could be strong. You don't have to, but there could be some significant energies of Aries and or Mars in your life or in your chart. With Heka, when I first really started going through this awakening journey back in 2020, I knew very little about the Egyptian gods, goddesses, deities, ways of living, ways of study. I did not know much of anything about Cometians. But there was one name that was perpetually going through my head. And when I started Googling it, it was incredibly difficult to find because there are so few stories, records, history surrounding Heka. The reason for this is because, as this card states, the alchemical force, Heka really is the alchemical force. It is the deity that is androgynous. And instead of being neither male nor female, Heka contains both, embodies both, and moves forward in these energies, in awareness of these energies, and shining both energies outward in everything. Heka is known as the deity of creation, the deity of magic and of medicine. And in fact, for healers, it was Heka that they would study and utilize. Magic and medicine and healing, magic and healing were seemingly synonymous a lot of the time. And it was not just an invocation of an energy, where Heka energy is very similar to Reiki energy, or actually equivalent to Reiki energy, but it was also an invocation of the origins of the creator and this understanding that we are all a part of the creator, for the creator has made all of us in his and her likeness. For the creator is neither one nor the other, but also both. And that may seem confusing to some, but for you, it feels as though this is a comfort, for this is something that you have learned to master within yourself. You understand your very own life force. You know how to move and flow and express yourself in the ways that are the most natural to who you are. This is a lot about learning that balance between giving and taking, and also understanding that where you're at right now, you're learning how to sift through the things, the noise, the background noise of the world, in order to hear the communication that is right for you, hear the origins of where you are, who you are, allow for that enlightenment and that light and clarity to come in so that you may find inner peace, inner joy, inner clarity, inner authority and start moving forward into your life in a way in which you are actually taking charge of every moment, knowing that you are moving with this mastery of yourself, of your path, of your purpose, but you're also doing it in a way that you're stepping into the leadership role. Now, when we step into the leadership role and we're thinking in the terms of retribution and reciprocity, again, retribution we look at very similarly to karma. It's about cause and effect. However, when I was preparing for this, when the word retribution kept coming through, divine retribution, I actually did that weird quirky thing that I do. And I don't know if anybody here who's watching actually caught my like, what's the gossip? What's the truth about you video? But in that video, I talk about this kind of, I suppose I could call it a guilty pleasure thing, but it's one of the ways in which spirit speaks to me when it comes to words. So words, semantics, connotations, inflection, intonation, these things are incredibly important to me because I live my life in a communicative role. My work here in this world, whether it is actual like my work, like career work, or whether it is the light work that I do in this world, whether it is the work that I put forth into my own healing, anything like that, it comes down to communication. For me, communication is key. Communication is one of the most important, if not the most important things in order to bridge the distance between any person, place, thing, belief, thought form, and energy in this world. That is why we have this gift of being able to speak and share and communicate in a variety of different ways. Now, when spirit speaks to me, there are times where I will hear a word and I'll know the meaning, like retribution. We hear retribution, and my automatic awareness of the word retribution is actually a punishment kind of energy. It's a negative connotation in the world these days. But when I looked back doing this thing that I do, where I go back to like the origins of the word, the online etymology dictionary, I go back to the origins of it. And this is about, it started, retribution began as a reward for an action. Now, when you come into mastery and you are starting to work with energies such as Heka's, and we have 29, which reduces to an 11, that is master energy. That is master leadership energy. When we are working with these energies in our lives, when we are working with the alchemical force that is in all things and through all things, we are working with high level vibrations, energies, and frequencies. That means there is a high level of responsibility that we're meant to understand, while simultaneously understanding the exact opposite, that we are not meant to take this life too seriously. It's not meant for that. And being able to hold those seeming polarities, seeming dualities within our conscious mind and exude that in our unconscious energy, subconscious mind, unconscious mind, and intentions, and aligning them all takes a very strong form of mastery. So when we're looking at the retribution, we need to see what is being sifted out first, where we're headed, and then see kind of the effect, whether it's a reward or a punishment of whatever actions have been taken. Now, I want you guys to remember that this energy that I'm working with, especially for this pile in particular, and I get this a lot with my pile 4s, this energy tends to be quite ineffable a lot of the time. So it will feel confusing. It will feel chaotic. Heka's energy in the beginning for me was as equally thrilling, exciting, as though I finally found the truth, as it was utter chaos and destruction. It was like meeting the tower and meeting the high priestess and the magician and temperance and the world card all smushed into. It was actually kind of like meeting all of the major arcanas in one moment in time. And everything that happens in a major arcana journey, in a fool's journey, happened in one instant. that would be the closest thing I can say is it's equivalent to when you have a very, very intense Kundalini awakening, where suddenly the downloads that you get break through into your conscious mind and everything about your world changes in an instant. It is that blink of an eye and everything is different. And people talk about it and they posit this scenario a lot of the time. And not everybody understands, but I get the sense that you understand, because Heka would not come out if it was not a worthy energy to come out. And that is something that I understand, because working with the rawness of creation, we think of, I always go back and think about Uranus, who is the archetypal deity of Uranus, the planet. But Uranus came before the Titans came, was the origin of the Titan, the father of the Titans, and the Titans who fathered the Greek gods. And everything changed from there. We're going earlier than that, for one could actually say that Heka would be the founding deity, the deity who created the creator gods. So Heka would be the origin of Uranus kind of energy. And it's an energy that knows, yeah, I created this, but I created all of this stuff. And then I created all of this energy, and I did this because it's beautiful. I did this because it's magical, it's mystical, it's wonderful. I did this because it was right. I did this because I'm learning how to master. And if we think about it in terms of alchemical force, and now I'm being brought back to, some of you may have been in my, the alchemist pile in my divine feminine main character energy reading, because I am coming back when I see that alchemical force and this energy. This is a lot of that energy pulling at me a lot, not necessarily pulling, but it's like, it's kind of like it comes and it washes in and it pulls certain awarenesses out for me. Usually I would not talk about deities that I work with. I am very, very private about them unless they ask me to do a reading. And I had to sit with sharing this with you guys because my connection with Heka is so deep, so profound, so truly intimate in my eyes. And it, to me, is one of those things that if I did not feel as though this was something that, if you aren't aware of this energy, this deity, this way of understanding the Ka, the Ba, the Ak, the heart, the soul, the body, the mind, understanding the ways in which we can work with these ancient deities and trust in what we receive, that we will not be able to find in the physical world because it does not exist. For when we work with creator deities, it is for us to begin to co-create something that does not exist in this world. And you have come into this awareness, this mastery at this point of your life force, of the ways in which you breathe in and out, in the ways in which you see and perceive yourself in the world and your place in it. And you have begun a journey of new ways of communicating. And that can be energetic communication. It can be ethereal communication. It can be dream communication that has come through really strongly. It could be communicating with the physical world. It could be communicating in symbolic form, especially symbols, and not traditional symbols, but it's almost as though you could look at something from, say, the Celtic histories or the Nordic histories, or you can look at something that is known as light language, and you can actually see how each one of them are the same thing across times and places and everything, in order to be able to come back to that origin, the original, the founder, creator. And even that is simply just a creator deity of this plane of existence. And there is still another creator deity that created this one. And perhaps that is something that you'll be learning, or something that we all will learn as we continue on this journey. For you, there is a truth threading through who you are, what you're here to do. It's a truth of openness, of awareness, of enlightenment. It's as though there are parts of your DNA awakening within you that are bringing forth different pieces of the puzzle that has felt very dissonant within your body, within your energy. And those things are beginning to awaken. As those things awaken, you can start feeling physical pains, physical illnesses. For me, I got to tell you guys, there were times, and I still have them, where there will be a shift internally that will be so massive that I have literally looked at my husband, David, or I have talked to, my very, very close friends and said, I feel this part of me crumbling, and it feels like I'm being torn apart internally. And you can feel it in your physical body, but it's about weathering that storm. And I feel with your energy as though you have now come out of the storm. It's as though the storm has finished, but what has come into your body is still adjusting. It's still coming in. It's still awakening, and it's going to continue. So let's find out what is being sifted out of your life. That's what the tarot cards are going to tell us. And on the back of the deck is going to be what is of the utmost importance for you to know right now moving forward. Then we're going to take a look at the oracle cards. And I know I'm kind of doing my usual stuff a little different, but this whole reading is like, this is like one of my Jesus Take the Wheel readings, where I did not know what to expect. I knew this was going to be a longer one, but it's kind of like we're throwing caution to the wind and changing everything down to the thumbnail and everything. I was called to literally overhaul it all and try something different. And this is not a shock to me, just because we're working with the Egyptian gods and they are of a different ilk, if you will. But these two cards are going to illuminate the effect of prior actions taken. So this is all about your retribution. It can be seen as a punishment. It can be seen as a reward. I don't know what it will be, but I will divine it when I flip them over. Then we're going to look at these. These are going to be about where you can find reciprocity, and it's going to be more about reciprocity within the world, within your communications with spirit. I'm feeling, especially for you guys, this is going to be surrounding communication. Most of it is how it feels, is new forms of communication. It's like being an energetic polyglot is what I'm picking up. And a polyglot is somebody who can speak multiple languages. So we're going to do that, and then we'll get some closing messages from the oracle cards. So without further ado, let's find out what is being sifted out. Oh, see, the weird thing, we've got the Knight of Swords. It's almost as if it was like, because it flipped over, and I felt it flip, but I didn't see it. And it stayed towards the back of the deck. It's kind of like this is a very subtle sift. So the Knight of Swords, in your case especially, is about messengers, messages. And again, I said I felt like this was going to be primarily focused on communication. Whoa, okay, yeah. Yes, no. No? Okay. We've been working with 4 cards per pile, so I do like how you guys have a lot of cards that are eager to come out because that tells me that there's a lot that's ready to be communicated with you, with the universe, from you to the world, however it plays out. But there's a lot of communication ready. But with this Knight of Swords, it's like having a direct line to the higher realms. And I get the sense that you did this through really like laying yourself bare, being like, this is who I am and this is what I'm here for. And please allow me to understand, allow me to be aware. It wasn't, there's a purity of intention with the communication that you've been having with the divine as of late. A purity of the communication you've been having with others. And the sifting that I'm getting is the sifting of ways in which you would have in prior times perceived the ways in which you were communicating to be good or bad or this or that. And now you're seeing it as divine calling, divine awareness, divine guidance, divine illumination, divine enlightenment being brought into the world. Yeah. The moon. Yeah. It's this. If we continue to play around and not be transparent, not be honest, not be open, not speak these truths, not speak these awarenesses, then what are we doing? We're hiding away. We've got Venus in Aquarius, and Venus in Aquarius is about learning to love the uniqueness of one's expression. It's about being very firm and very fixed in speaking truths from the heart, and knowing that that doesn't always mean that what you're speaking is going to be soft. It's not going to always be like pretty words and you know, gentleness. Sometimes it's going to be hard. There's that fixed nature of Aquarius, and Venus is like, no, okay, you can't trap me. You can't entrap me. I'm going to pour forth my truth, because I know that when I pour forth my truth, it is much like the moon being illuminated. When the moon is a full moon, it's the moon itself is not giving off any light. It is simply a mirror. It's simply a reflection of the light from the sun. And it's shine and it is giving us additional sunlight in the evening. That's what a full moon does. That's why we think of the moon card as the illusion, because we look up to the stars and we construct certain things, same as we construct certain things in this world. And look, we've got the 8 of Swords here with the crocodile down on bottom, or even Typhon could be down on bottom, and we'll get into that when I get there. But when we look up at the sky, the illusions are that these things are too far away to impact us. The illusions are that the moon is shining on us when really it's the sun shining on us at that moment. And the moon in the sky is a lot like how the Egyptians lit up the pyramids. They used reflective, curved like mirrors, gigantic mirrors, to catch the sun and to ricochet off each other to illuminate the chambers underground. I apologize if you guys can hear Winifred ringing the doorbell to the office. She gets a little finicky when I channel, especially when I'm working with the Egyptian energies. But the moon is the illusion that we are different. The moon is the illusion that there is one or the other. The moon is the illusion that we are trapped, that we are chained, that we are unable to pour our truths out. Now, you have been moving in a way in which what's being sifted out is literally the illusions. You're speaking these truths out. You're speaking and setting intentions and setting roots very firmly, because we've got the Ace of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles. You're quite literally speaking new truths into the world, into your existence from the higher realms about the illusions that have been keeping you back, or keeping anyone back from allowing themselves to grow into the fullness of who they can be here in the world, of not seeing the possibility that we can create literally anything that we wish to create, because we have the creator energy within each and every one of us. You're coming forward now, and what's being sifted out is anyone who's going to stand in the way of this Knight of Swords. And the biggest part that is standing in the way is your own mentality. It's your own fears. And in this way, what you need to know absolutely here, as you sift out the illusions, the fears, the worries, the blames, and feeling as though you can't speak some sort of truth because you feel as though it's not coming from a place of light, that's a construct. That's a it's like a fear-based human construct that when we speak a truth about something that we see, we experience, we know, we feel, that we have been gifted from the higher realms, from our deities, from a master, when we have been initiated through some sort of phase into an internal alchemical process in which we have essentially changed the foundations and the core of who we are into something brand new. And now we've set down roots and foundations of that to take off. What we have to sift through is all the illusions of what came before that didn't want to be seen, that didn't want to be heard, that wanted to stay locked away and pushed away because we were too afraid, or the world may not have been ready, or we were told the world wasn't ready. But you have this clear line, this clear path. You have a clear line to the higher realms. You have a clear path here in the world. It's as above, so below, but it's more than that this time with you guys. With you, more than anything, what is being sifted out is anyone who tries to build an illusion about you or anything that you do. It's about you speaking truths into existence without any worry, any fear surrounding it. Now, with the Eight of Swords, we think about Typhon, and Typhon was a monster who was created and then trapped and set free out of jealousy by Hera to go after Zeus because he was doing that thing that he did as a god and allowing himself to, if there was ever going to be a story about a very tolerant yet don't piss me off, or, you'll see like the F around and find out kind of energy, it would be Hera with Zeus, and Zeus as like the playboy energy. That is, mythologically speaking, where we get a lot of it. But with Typhon was sent to destroy Olympus. That's how we get Piscean energy. Piscean energy comes from that same myth. Now, a crocodile or an alligator is actually a protector. Some of you may have felt drawn to, I can't, in all honesty, you may have felt drawn to pile 3. I usually wouldn't say it, but it literally, the image on the card may have drawn you in. I'm not actually getting that a lot with you guys, but what I am getting is a kind of fear of being pulled and trapped in murkiness, in watery depths, of being trapped within your mind or trapped within the illusion, the opinions, the beliefs of others. And right now, moving forward, I get the sense that you may have been through an Eight of Swords energy where you were trapped by your own mind, but others may have tried to trap you within your own mind as well. And I do get the sense that what you're being shown here with this card is that those fears and the fear mongers have been trapped from you. And there is a change in the ways in which you can or cannot be reached by certain energies, entities, even just thoughts in thought forms and thought energies from other people. There's a level of mastery that others don't necessarily have. And therefore, this trapped energy is more of fears being trapped within a visible cage so that they can't actually access you. So let's move on to your oracle cards. All right, so we're going to start with the effect or the retribution. So Yes, we have bright heart light, open connections with card 18. And again, we've got 2 18s here. This may have been something that you've been working on since 2018. You may have been 29 years old in 2018, but we do have 1s, 8s, and 9s out here. That is strength, completion, getting to the end of a journey. That's that 9 energy. And then 8s are about financial abundance, and 1s are just leadership. And then we have Earth Mother, feel loved and comforted. Okay, so to me, what I'm getting here a lot is that you're really coming down to anchor. You have opened the work that you've done. The work that you have done cannot be undone, is what I'm hearing. It's actually kind of reminding me of church when I was a kid. And we were, I can't even remember how it went, but it was can't be undone. It just resonated again in my brain of like, this was something from church. But it is this understanding of your own divinity, this understanding of your own light, your own mastery over your emotions, your mind, your mentality, and anchoring that down. This open connections is, again, that clear line up, and you being aware that you can illuminate others, you can speak your truth, you can be this person, you can speak what you know and speak who you are. You can enlighten the world and illuminate the truth. You can do this. You don't need to be trapped, and your fears can't trap you anymore. I just overwhelmingly keep saying, like, your fears can't trap you. So let's see where we can get reciprocity. We have High Priest, intend and create, and 51, grateful optimism, joyous view of the future. See, here's why it can't trap you anymore, because you are moving into a very intentional energy. And that to me means that moving forward, it's going to be kind of like certain things are going to be on display with you, but they're going to be on display in a way that shows the world what you've overcome, what you have done. And in that way, you're literally standing in your power, and you're saying, you know what, you can try, but look what I've done. Yeah. See, we've got heal, because this is what you have done. You have really awoken that divine feminine energy more than anything. And now you're moving in this awareness of your own authority, your own ability to set firm intentions of some form of creation. Again, we're coming back to creation energy, and you're moving with authority. This heal card and the frog. Frogs are all about cleansing. Clearing of the energy, really coming into a state of everything from the past has fallen away. All the illusions of the past have fallen away. You're not trapping yourself by anyone else's standards. You are moving in a very determined, very focused, very direct path. You know exactly where you're going now, and there's nothing and no one who can slow you down, because literally, like, you've mastered it. This is incredible. See? Fear. You have literally mastered fear. I almost felt like one more flipped over, and I never divine the cards this way with you guys, but with the fear card, it popped over and stayed in the back of the deck. Again, just like the Knight of Swords. It was this energy of it wasn't ready until it was. It wasn't there until it was. Like it was from nothing came something. You've healed these fears. You've mastered these fears. You're stepping forward in this divine truth. You have this wisdom, this knowingness within you. And it can't and won't be shaken, is what I'm hearing. It can't and won't be shaken. You create the universe. The universe is literally like in the palm of your hands. Yeah, we've got the outlaw and we've got play. what's sifting away, what's changing, where you're moving from here is this awareness that other people might try to trap you, but you understand your fears better than anyone else could ever possibly understand your fears. And even if you verbalize a fear, no one's going to actually be able to impact you by using that fear because you've healed it. You've healed literally all your fears. It's like it's been molting out of your energy field. And now people might see you as being out there, as not following the norm, but it's because you don't and you're not meant to. You're meant to balance this responsibility and this adventurousness with playing and experimenting and then going into a state of firm intention because this healing that you've done has been so intense. You're going into this place where you're given this force of alchemization of your world, your life. You're taking your light and actually alchemizing everything within your life with that. And because of that, things will shift rapidly going forward. I am hearing to reach out. I'm getting that Andromedan energy from my Andromeda. You guys must be frequents on my channel because I'm getting a lot of similar energies, but the Andromedan reading, I'm getting that same energy of this is what we were putting in your palm. The sands were what we were putting in your palm. The power to overcome this, the power to heal this. You may be channeling a new form of energy healing in this world. Stay optimistic, stay direct and focused. Understand that you can see all perspectives, all sides, all things, and that you can move forward in a balanced, harmonious state because what you're doing is meant to be done only by you because you're the master of this. You understand this sacredness within you, and you are here to bring it forth into the world, into a creative endeavor in the world, in whatever way feels right to you. Creation is literally right now, I am creating words, noise, expressions out of silence. I am creating this reading in its own way by blending these energies and bringing them forth to help you become aware of your own blended energy. Creation is how you perceive it to be. It can be anything. It does not have to be put in a box, and it should not be put in a box. And for you, I don't think that you could ever put it in a box. I also want you to be aware that I'm actually seeing this symbol going down into your root chakra and then threading up and down. And then there's like this harnessing of all of it. And now I'm seeing like light bursting out. And as the light bursts out, the shadows burst out and kind of just like pulverize. I don't know if this resonates with someone's vision, but that's the energy that I'm getting here. You know when to rest, you know when to move. You know what is worth it. You cannot be trapped by fear any longer, for you have healed fear and turned it into something that is, oh my gosh, okay. It's like you've turned fear into a playful puppy. This is very, very unique. But allow yourself to start exploring this part, this energy, this mastery, this awareness. If Heka does not call to you beyond this reading, ask to be led and really, really trust yourself. Like truly, please, truly trust yourself when you hear certain names, energies, anything like that, because you would be shocked how you can learn something that actually exists in history or documented, how you can learn something without ever touching your computer, the internet, a book, anything like that, with ever interacting with anybody who knows these things. That's how I learned about Yamaya, Oya, Hecate, Freya. That's how I came into contact with Odin. For a lot of my life, I didn't know much about these deities. It's how Heka came into my life. I didn't know, but I felt them. And if they give you a name, if they give you a word, if they give you a direction, please trust, because that is how you help show your fear that it's safe. And that is how you turn your fear into a playful puppy. And that is how you shine a new light, a new beacon of light into the world in a whole new way. This is absolutely incredible. I am really, really deeply, profoundly honored to bring these messages forth for you guys. Pile 4, this is all I'm seeing. I did not intend for this pile to go as long, but I did want to give the energy, the time, the space, the respect. And I do truly respect it. So I do want to say thank you for going through all of this with me, for being here towards the end. I do truly respect you in a huge way. Thank you so much, Pile 4. I want to say thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between us. I want to say thank you to Spirit and our divine creator, as well as Heka, for coming forth, for providing the wisdom, the awareness, the energy, and the words within my own filter of a mind to be able to explain this in my way for the collective of Pile 4. I am so honored to do that. And I want to say thank you so much for being here and for always being so open to working with me. So thank you so much. Pile 4, if this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of my upcoming readings. In the description box, you're going to find links to my second channel, Rising Sign Messages, as well as links to donate to my channel, to book a personal reading, and to my author page on Amazon. Let me know in the comment section below how this resonated. Reach out to other Pile 4s if you feel so inclined. Like, you guys are of a different breed in a very, very, very honorable way. So I would love to interact with you guys more and have you guys interact with each other more. Also, I did want to make sure that you guys knew that on December 23rd, I have a collaboration coming out with Odessa Mall and Damselflies. And it is right in time for the holiday season, the Christmas season, or Yule season, depending on where you're at and what you celebrate. And it could even be applied to Hanukkah if you like. Pretty much it's just the holidays. I'm going to stop before I put my foot in my mouth. It's just the holiday season. And with that collaboration, if you go and you subscribe and comment and like all 3 videos, you will be entered into a drawing to win a free 15-minute reading from me. So make sure you guys check that out on the 23rd. Do all the fun little doodads and billy boobs and billy bobs and whatnot. I don't know. I can feel your energy moving out, and now I feel kind of like my brain is all like flooded. So I'm going to leave you guys here. I, again, want to say thank you, Pile 4. I'm amazed by you. You are incredible. Thank you again. I love you all. Bye.